So let's talk about Cam Newton, Tom, and his future. What's the latest?
Well, I think the latest is there's some pretty uncertainty and some questions around it here because the Panthers owner, David Tepper, was very non-committal when he was asked about Cam Newton, basically saying, look, I want to know if he's healthy. And that's certainly a fair mindset. That's a valid mindset to have here for Cam Newton. But even when you're just being nice, normally your owner doesn't come out and say, yeah, we want to know if he's healthy. And the Panthers have a decision to make here. He has a $21.1 million cap hit in 2020. There's only about $2 million there in dead money. They can save a lot of money if they were to cut, or I'd say more likely, trade Cam Newton. The problem is here, free agency is coming up pretty closely here. It's going to be in March 18th when it officially begins, but March 18th you can do some trades there, and you can agree to potential deals. So you kind of want to know by then if he's healthy so you can make your decision. Are you going to pursue somebody in free agency? Are you going to have his cap money available to sign other guys? So you kind of want to know, but I think for Carolina, they're kind of in a holding pattern right now, and that leads to some uncertainty within the organization and in Cam's camp as well.
I mean, Cam Newton, there's no doubt he's talented, right? I mean, when he first came into the league, he had like 6 straight years of over 5 rushing touchdowns. Obviously, his best year, which is not shown on screen, was 2015 when he won the MVP. My only concern with Cam is if you're the Panthers, you want to obviously know sooner rather than later. That way you can plan because your free agency, your entire offseason, the draft, it is all focused around this man right here. So we already did a Cam Newton trade destination video. Bears, Chargers, Patriots, Buccaneers, Titans.
I played with the order a little bit, by the way.
That's okay. Well, good. We got to update things here at Chat Sports. So we already dropped a video. If you guys want to see more videos like that, it's just another reason that you should subscribe to our channel. So we want you now to vote, okay? What should the Panthers do with Cam Newton? Type T for trade, type K for keep, type C for cut. I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's video. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you might get hit with an ad break. And I want you to scroll on down while that video is playing, and I want you to vote. Type T for trade, type K for keep, or I want you to type C for cut. Let's go to another quarterback here. We're talking about Taysom Hill. He thinks he's a franchise quarterback.
The rumors around Taysom Hill are, how do I put this delicately without getting too mad? Dumb. He has been called a future star now by both Pro Football Talk and Bleacher Report. Now, Hill understandably says, I want to be a quarterback. I want to be the franchise guy. That's how he's supposed to think. What we're not supposed to do is pretend that Taysom Hill can be better or as good as Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. He's a fun football player. He's an athlete. You make him into a full-time quarterback, you're going to be disappointed. Here's what Mike Freeman, the softest man in sports, by the way, had to say. If Hill stays in New Orleans and continues to work with head coach Sean Payton, one of the smartest people in the sport, which is right, he could even ascend to the Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson stratosphere. I mean, are you shitting me? How disrespectful is this to Mahomes and Lamar Jackson? To think that Taysom Hill can be that guy? He's 30 with 13 career pass attempts.
I think it's more disrespectful to Taysom Hill that
what are you doing?
You're giving him false hope. Like, Taysom Hill is a great football player.
He's fun.
He's not even close to Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson.
This is, frankly, I know it's the silly season of the offseason. This is, I think, the dumbest thing you're going to see all offseason long. Thinking that Taysom Hill can become Patrick Mahomes' caliber star.
All right, so Chat Sports, we're all about the interaction here, and we want to get your votes in here, okay? Is Taysom Hill a franchise quarterback? I want you to give us a Y for yes or an N for no.
Now, back to Taysom Hill and why I said no here. This is y'all's king? 6 of 13 career passing? This is your god? This is your future superstar? And it's not like Taysom Hill is in his first year as an NFL quarterback, or that Taysom Hill is this super young guy. Y'all, he's going to turn 30 before the year begins. And not only that, Sean Payton can say whatever he wants. He hasn't used him as a quarterback. Here were his snap counts this season, right? 752 total. Or 572 total. I did this math wrong.
Somebody said that he's the Mormon Team Tebow.
That's a very accurate comment, frankly. Like, these were his total snaps here. I got to get the right number at the bottom, but 572. 41 of them were at quarterback. 308 were on special teams. 116 were at receiver, 85 at tight end. He wasn't used at a quarterback. If you believe that Taysom Hill is a future star at quarterback, I question how much football you honestly watch. Because there's nothing to indicate that Taysom Hill is a future superstar quarterback. He is the Mormon Tim Tebow. What Tim Tebow should have become, this jack of all trades. I like Taysom Hill. He's a fun player. Sean Payton maximizes him. If you're going to make a 30-year-old quarterback with 16 career passes into your franchise guy, you're going to be so disappointed. You'll be able to run the football. You'll have some fun trick plays. He is not a consistent passer.
I'm seeing a lot of people type the word GOAT in the comments section. And if you want to be the GOAT on Valentine's Day, go to chatsports.com/flowers. Take advantage of our deal. 15% off all gifts, flowers, cookies, candy, all sorts of stuff. You want teddy bears? Man, chatsports.com/flowers. Literally anything. Now, this will be my first Valentine's Day where I might actually have a Valentine, Tom, I'll be honest.
You keep waffling on that, dude. You got 2 days to make a firm decision here.
Yeah, well, I got plenty of days. Plenty of days. And you guys have plenty of days, too, to get your loved one something. Chatsports.com/flowers. 15% off all flowers and gifts as well. Next rumors around Nick Foles, and I feel like we're doing some deja vu here, Tom. Nick Foles trade. Didn't we do this last year?
Yeah, we kind of have done this before, and it's different though because the Eagles allowed Nick Foles to hit free agency. The Jaguars, meanwhile, his contract situation makes him literally impossible to cut and very difficult to trade. Now, he could still draw some interest, but this is not going to be a Joe Flacco type trade, I wouldn't imagine.
No.
I think this might be more along the lines of maybe the Brock Osweiler trade. We'll get into some trade details in general in a second, but here's his contract status. A $22+ million cap hit for 2020.
Yep.
If he is cut, that balloons to 33.8. So you got to pay him extra money than what you would do if you just kept him on the roster, so you can't cut him. If you trade him, it drops down to a little over 18, so you save a little under $4 million. That's not great if you're Jacksonville. You can save a little bit of money, but
Austin says restructure the contract.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you restructure the contract, does Foles want to do that? He has no reason to do it because they can't cut him. Restructures work when the player is aware he could be released. The new team, by the way, has to pay him $16 million.
Yeah, I think.
And frankly, look, Gardner Minshew was better than Nick Foles last season.
It wasn't even
and
close,
way
really.
cheaper.
Yeah, way cheaper. And I think when you just watch the team rallied around Gardner Minshew, right? Like, the team wanted Gardner Minshew out on the field. They didn't really look like they had the back of Nick Foles. It almost looked like the exact opposite of what we saw with the Philadelphia Eagles when Carson Wentz was kind of out there, and then all of a sudden Nick Foles comes in, and the team really rallied behind him. Gardner Minshew, as you can see the numbers above, clearly better. So, Tom threw together a nice little trade proposal here. Talk about it.
It's a different one, so bear with me.
But make sure
here.
you guys get your votes in here.
Yeah.
Bear with me. I like the pun. So type B for Bears, type J for Jags, or, it's right on screen. You guys can type it.
For Chicago, look, Nick Foles, I don't think his contract is a positive asset right now. I don't think you're going to get much. Now, maybe if the Jags were to eat some extra money and reduce a $16 million cap hit for a new team, maybe you'd end up getting back more. But in this scenario, the Jags give away their later 6th-round pick. It's like number 200, out to the top 200 right now. They save money by getting rid of Nick Foles, frees up Gardner Minshew. Jacksonville's tight on money. Nick Foles right now, with what we saw last year, I don't think his overall contract and the player that he is not a positive asset. So the Jags could take back more money, and then they could get the 6th-round pick, but then they don't save any cap space. So I think for Jacksonville, it's a different idea. They still might say no, and I understand that, but it's a Brock Osweiler type move. You free up money by letting go of Nick Foles, which frankly, you overpaid him to begin with, if you're being honest with yourselves.
So continue to get those votes coming in. B for Bears, J for Jags. Who says no? Let's go to another quarterback that's in some recent trade rumors. Red-haired Andy Dalton. Tom, I know you're kind of a Bengals fan.
From Cincinnati, they're the
kind of a Bengals fan.
Number 2 team.
It's hard to admit, but is Andy Dalton going to get traded?
Well, he's definitely going to be gone. There's no reason for
That's not what I asked. I said, is he going to get traded?
Well, I was going to get there.
Okay.
There's no reason for the Bengals to keep Andy Dalton. So he will not be on the team next year. The question is, can you find someone to take on his contract or not? It ends up looking kind of similar to Andy Dalton, or to Nick Foles, but the difference is there's no dead money. The Bengals can cut him if they want, and for being honest, I kind of think teams might prefer Andy Dalton there. Maybe the Patriots could make sense as a destination, but it's a better quarterback market. And because of that, you might see the Bengals end up releasing Andy Dalton, especially because they want to work with Dalton on a trade. So if Dalton picks his destination, why would that team want to give up money? Or give a draft asset of any type there, maybe a late-round pick. So a Ryan Tannehill trade is certainly in the cards here. At only $17.5 million, that's great starter money. It's cheap, but as backup money, a little bit too expensive. So maybe you can work on that deal, get it a little bit lower, knowing if you put him around a better team, maybe he looks more like 2016 Andy Dalton, but at this point he's in his mid-30s. I think unless you get lucky and get a Tannehill-type resurgence, you're not going to be banking on Dalton being your starter. I'd say the Bears also make a lot of sense here because Bill Lazor is their new OC. There's a built-in connection.
So where will Andy Dalton play in 2020? I see some people are already getting their votes in. I'm seeing Jason Douglas says Rams, seeing a Buccaneers, Chargers, or the Patriots. Continue to get your votes in here. Where will Andy Dalton play in 2020? Now, Tom, let's go to this next rumor. Quinton Dunbar, it's not even a rumor. It's some news that came out today.
He's kind of doubled back and forth, so it's confusing.
But he wants out, asked for a trade or release, then he's backtracked.
So he said it I think it was Tuesday night, that he wants to be traded or released because they were in extension talks and they all dried up and he doesn't know where it is. Then he said today, allegedly to different media members, that, I just want to know where I am. I haven't demanded a trade quite yet. Okay, pick one, Quinton. Either you want out or you don't. Maybe it's somewhere in the middle. Maybe he asked for the trade and then was like, geez, maybe I should calm down and not freak out there. He's worthy of an extension. He actually played very well for the Redskins this past season. For Washington, meanwhile, you're working on getting Trent Williams back into the fold. Now your number one corner's upset. Get it together, guys. How was it always something in Washington? I would not be surprised if this worked out in the end, but I will say this for Quinton Dunbar. If the Redskins go out and say maybe throw a bunch of money at James Bradbury, Dunbar ain't going to be too happy because that's going to be viewed as his money. He should have gotten that extension. He's been their number one corner. I think he's a little bit more of a number two corner, but the other options, Fabian Moreau, not as good as Dunbar. I like Jimmy Mullen as a slot guy. Josh Norman, with his contract, I kind of doubt he's back in
especially with
Washington.
his production.
Even with Ron Rivera there, but he's so expensive. So for the Redskins, I don't know, figure this one out, because normally you don't want to move on from talented young corners, especially the last one you had in Kendall Fuller. You traded away as part of the Alex Smith deal, which bit you in the butt pretty heavily.
For sure, Tom. So today's sponsor, BetDSI. Go to chatsports.com/bet. Use our promo code NFL120. Gets you 120% deposit bonus. So I know the NFL season's over. There's going to be a lot of NFL draft prop bets. You can bet on the XFL. You can bet on NBA games. Do it all at BetDSI. But use the promo code, get 120% deposit bonus. Let's go to Devonta Freeman, Atlanta Falcons running back, and I might not be able to introduce him as Atlanta Falcons running back for much longer.
Well, this is not a huge surprise. The Falcons are considering moving on from Devonta Freeman because, of course, they should be. There's no reason why they shouldn't be considering this at the moment. A $9.5 million cap, but they can save $3.5 million by trading him or cutting him. There was interest at the trade deadline, the Detroit Lions among them.
Yep.
I don't know why the Falcons didn't trade him in the first place. That I thought was dumb of them. I don't think you're going to find a taker for Devonta Freeman at $6 million, coming off a career worst year. We had like 3.6 or something, 3.5 yards per carry. I think they're going to cut him. Move on, use that money elsewhere. Maybe draft somebody in round 2. Maybe a J.K. Dobbins or a DeAndre Swift. If I'm Atlanta, I'm moving on from Devonta Freeman and taking my savings and saying peace out.
So you think there's a very, very good chance that Devonta Freeman gets cut?
I do think there's a good chance of that, yeah.
I'm totally with you. And honestly, right when the Falcons signed Devonta Freeman, I know he had a great year in 2015, but as soon as that happened, I was like, they're going to definitely regret giving him that contract. So we're talking about Devonta Freeman potentially getting cut. So how about this, okay? We want you to type me if you want a video on possible cuts. So let us know in the comments section if you want it. Make sure you subscribe, youtube.com/chatsportstv. So throw it in there, the me's, and we'll give out some shout-outs. Next rumor, Tua over Joe Burrow. What?
Yeah, Bucky Brooks and Colin Cowherd had this.
You can just stop it right. Anytime I hear Bucky Brooks, I'm like, oh my God, here we go.
Brooks and Cowherd both had this take that they think Tua's the better quarterback. That was the case entering the year, except for the fact that Joe Burrow balled out. The argument from Cowherd was that the numbers were better, and I'm like, Joe Burrow just had the greatest season ever in college football history. Bucky Brooks pointed to the arm talent for Tua, which is not better than Joe Burrow's. Both of them have great deep balls. They don't have elite arm strength. It's good, and Tua certainly has elements in favor of him. But I don't think that you can evaluate Tua over Burrow right now because of the medical. The medical is such a big factor here. We don't know how healthy Tua's going to be. Now, Tua's hip is getting better, but that doesn't mean it actually is going to be better. And not only that, he had all kind of ankle injuries and lower body injuries at Alabama. I like Tua. He's probably going to be a top 5, top 10 guy for me. But did we not watch what Joe Burrow did this year? At this point, I'm kind of done just hating on Joe Burrow.
So Tom's dumb, so we need you to guys get your votes in since Tom can't answer this one. Joe Burrow type B, Tua type T. I want to make this, though. You know Tua's healthy. Let's say it comes out, you know he's healthy. Joe Burrow or Tua?
Still Burrow.
Just because of the argument to
what
me.
We saw from Burrow last year. As great as Tua was, Burrow was even better. The year that Joe Burrow put together was unlike anything I've seen at the college football level. And the arguments you'd make against Burrow, it was just 1 year. Okay, so that's fine. I get that argument, I guess. But he got better pretty much as the year went on. And, Burrow's offensive line and receivers are so great. Literally, Tua's were just as good, if not better. So for me, as much as I do like Tua, I'm taking Joe Burrow in the end. He had such a fantastic year. I'm in on Burrow being the number 1 overall pick. Tua's fine being a top 10 pick as well. I'm not trying to hate on Tua, but I'm taking Burrow here pretty easily.